Good evening, everyone. We'll start shortly. All right, so welcome all in our weekly webinar, Market Masterclass with Religare. So, in this webinar, we talk about the market performance during the week, the benchmark, sectoral indices, Nifty gainers, losers. Then comes the real part. What is our view and how our charts are positioned for Nifty and banking index? Some of these stocks we are also going to discuss in the following slides basis the interest and strength or weakness. So we are going to cover this in next 20 minutes, followed by a quick feedback poll and then the Q&A session. So in case if you have any questions related to the presentation or otherwise also in any particular sector or theme which you would like to know about, definitely you can answer using that Q&A button which is in front of your screen. तो आप सभी का स्वागत है हमारी वीकली वेबिनार में। और इस वेबिनार का बेसिकली पर्पस है नेक्स्ट वीक की तैयारी करना। ये हफ्ता कैसा रहा इसके फर्स्ट स्लाइड में वो हम कवर करेंगे। अब क्या एंटिसिपेटेड है नेक्स्ट वीक में, कौन सी चीजें आपको ध्यान रखनी है, सेक्टर्स, स्टॉक्स, ये सब कुछ करेंगे कवर हम नेक्स्ट 20 मिनट में। उसके बाद कोई भी सवाल है आपका रिलेटेड टू एनी सेक्टर, डेफिनेटली आप पूछ सकते हैं। एनी थीम, स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक वी अवॉइड, बिकॉज आधे घंटे में वी ट्राई टू फिनिश दिस सो दैट कि मैक्सिमम यूटिलाइज करें हम इस टाइम को और हम प्रिपेयर कर पाए फॉर द नेक्स्ट वीक. So let's get started with a disclaimer first that the information which we are going to share is educational, it's only for the educational purpose. It's not for trading or investment. So please make sure that you discuss with your financial advisor before making any decision based on the information shared. तो जो भी चीजें हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं वो एजुकेशनल पर्पस के लिए है। ट्रेडिंग और इन्वेस्टमेंट करने से पहले दिस इंफॉर्मेशन अपने फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर से जरूर बात करें। So this is the market performance during the week. So as you can see that last week was the week of consolidation. This week we ended the consolidation and both benchmark indices drifted lower, lost nearly 2.5% each. Among the sectors, only media and FMCG could manage to end in green. Rest, noticeable pressure in IT, metal, energy, realty, and auto. So, in fact, banking and financials, they ended almost on the flat note. So that's why we are not seeing them on the gaining side. They were marginally in the red, but they were the one basically which was holding strong amid all this correction. Now coming to the gainers, Tata Consumers led the pack in the Nifty 50 basket, followed by IndusInd Bank, recovery in Zomato, Trent, Apollo Hospital, and then of course the metal counters, Hindalco, Tata Steel, HCL Tech, TCS, and Tata Motors. They were among the top losers. Basically ये है पूरे वीक का हमारा लेखा जोखा कि किस तरीके से वीक रहा हमारा। करीब 2.5% के कट निफ्टी और सेंसेक्स में। तो लास्ट वीक कंसोलिडेशन वाला था, इस वीक उस कंसोलिडेशन को हमने एंड कर दिया। अगर आपको ध्यान होगा तो जो हमने बात की थी कि 23,400 23,800, तो उसको ब्रेक करने के बाद ये प्रेशर देखने को मिला। मीडिया एफएमसीजी ये पॉजिटिव साइड पे, बाकी सारे सेक्टर नेगेटिव साइड पे। थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेंथ जो था वो बैंकिंग और फाइनेंशियल्स में भी था, जो कि यहाँ पे इसके लिए दिख रहा है सेक्टर के मूवमेंट में, बिकॉज वो ऑलमोस्ट फ्लैट हुए हैं, बंद, मार्जिनली नेगेटिव। बट उनकी स्ट्रेंथ काफी हद तक हेल्प किया है मार्केट को कैप करने में डैमेज को। अदरवाइज शायद यहाँ पे 4-5% के कट दिखते हैं आपको। बाकी गेनर्स लूजर्स पे जैसे कि आप देख पा रहे हैं कि अक्रॉस द बोर्ड मूवमेंट। तो इंडसइंड बैंक में रिकवरी, जोमेटो में रिकवरी, स्ट्रेंथ जहाँ पे थी वो टाटा कंज्यूमर था। वहीं पे मेटल काउंटर्स और आईटी काउंटर्स अलॉन्ग विद टाटा मोटर्स जहाँ पे की सबसे ज्यादा प्रेशर देखने को मिला। अब आते हैं व्हाट टू एक्सपेक्ट नेक्स्ट वीक। So this is the daily graph of Nifty index, and as you can see that we were here last week, trading in a very tight range. This week we penetrated that zone, means the long-term averages, and drifted further lower on the final day of the session. Now what? So see, we have 2-3 scenarios here. One, that closer to this 22,800 mark, we try to form a base which is at this trend line support also, and then witness some consolidation and then recovery. How it's going to be important in that case, we'll have a reversal pattern in place. So can you see this? Those who follow technicals, there's a possibility that Nifty might form a inverted head and shoulder pattern. This is the left shoulder, this is head, and this is the right shoulder in making. Second scenario, we fail to hold this area and then we drift lower, right? Then probably this previous swing low is going to be the major support. So as of now, obviously there is a margin support at 22,800, but major is something that we are anticipating around this area, 22,600 for this week, right? If we break that on the weekly charts, we have supported 22,100 zone, maybe close to around this area, basis on the major moving averages, right? So as of now, indications are in the favor that this correction may continue the way we have ended on Friday, with 22,600 to 22,100 being the key support zone, with marginal support at this 22,800 mark also. What if we recover, then how it's going to be? Then earlier, which was acting as a support, will now act as a resistance, this 22,400 mark, where our major averages are placed, 23, this long-term averages and mid-term averages, 100 and 200 at 23,400. Once we break that mark, then the previous swing high, this 23,800 levels. देखिए, ये चार्ट दिखाने का मेरा एक रीजन है, डेली चार्ट है ये, इंडेक्स का डेली मूवमेंट दिखाता है ये। तो लास्ट वीक हम यहाँ थे, इस रेंज को हम लेवल को हम होल्ड कर रहे थे, तो एंटिसिपेशन ये था जब तक ये होल्ड कर रहे हैं तब तक एक उम्मीद रहेगी कि रिकवरी की, तो वो हुआ नहीं, मार्केट ने उसको ब्रेक कर दिया 23,400 को, और जो एक येलो लाइन आप फेंटली देख रहे हैं शॉर्ट टर्म एवरेजेस की, उसको भी ब्रेक कर दिया है। तो इंडिकेशन तो ये है कि करेक्शन कंटिन्यू रहेगी। तो पहला क्या है सिनेरियो कि यहाँ पे एक इन्वर्टेड हेड एंड शोल्डर, जो कि एक रिवर्सल पैटर्न होता है, उसको फॉर्म करने की कोशिश करे निफ्टी। उस केस में ये 22,700 800 का जोन ये पहला सपोर्ट हो सकता है, उसके बाद ये रेंज में चला जाए और कुछ टाइम यहाँ पे ऐसे साइडवेज रहे या फिर एक रिकवरी है। दूसरा सिनेरियो कि मार्केट इसको होल्ड ना करे या दोबारा से अपने प्रीवियस लो के पास आए। तो अभी के लिए ये तो मार्जिन सपोर्ट है ही, बट जो मेजर सपोर्ट होगा, जहां से कि हमने ब्रेकआउट देखा था, रिवर्सल देखा था, करीब 22,600 का जोन, और अगर वो नहीं फिर होल्ड होता है तो फिर 22,100 का जोन, राइट? तो टोन नेगेटिव है निफ्टी में इन शॉर्ट, जब तक कि आप इस 23,400 के ऊपर नहीं निकलते हैं, राइट? सो 23,400, 23,400, that is now the key hurdle. Downside, the first major support is going to be around this 22,600. So hope it is clear. Now let's move to the key sector. So basically this is banking index weekly graph. Last week also we've discussed about banking being the key savior, or I would rather say now the only savior, because metal also witnessed a sharp correction in today's session. So the way we are seeing consolidation, or I would say, strength amid all this choppiness, that clearly shows, potential of further recovery or rebound, because the earnings season is also about to kickstart in few days. So what we are anticipating, 50,700, which we mentioned last week also, that is the first major support. Until we break that mark, that positive tone is likely to continue with this 52,800 as the first hurdle, and then around new high, 53,900 or 4,000 zone in the coming weeks. So basically this sector, which holds roughly around 40% weight in the Nifty index, combined with financials, that's the only hope that currently the index has for any decisive recovery, or at least to cap the damage which we are seeing from the other heavyweights, be it IT, energy, FMCG, and now pharma and metals also, right? So बैंकिंग देखिए, जैसे कि हम काफी टाइम हो गया, अब जितने भी पास के वेबिनार्स आप जाके देखेंगे हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल पर रेलिगेयर के, तो वही चीज नजर आएगी कि बैंकिंग बैंकिंग और बैंकिंग, यहीं पे केवल स्ट्रेंथ है। बाकी मतलब बैंकिंग के साथ फाइनेंशियल्स जो बास्केट है, एनबीएफसी बास्केट, बाकी सभी में चैलेंज रहेगा। और बीच बीच में कभी मेटल्स में, कभी थीम वाइज डिफेंस में जरूर अपॉर्चुनिटीज दिखी हैं। बट जहां पे इस कंसिस्टेंसी है स्ट्रेंथ में, दैट इज द बैंकिंग स्पेस। सो बेसिस दैट वी फील इस वीक के मूव के बाद भी कि निफ्टी में अगर रिकवरी आएगी तो वो बैंकिंग लेड ही होगी, उसकी पॉसिबिलिटी काफी ज्यादा है। मींस अगर निफ्टी को होल्ड करना है ये 22,600 के लेवल को, तो यहाँ से बैंक निफ्टी को स्ट्रेंथ और दिखानी पड़ेगी, और 22,800 जो कि पहला ये रेड लाइन आप देख रहे हैं, एंड देन प्रॉब्ली एक नया हाई, राइट? सो बैंकिंग अभी भी पॉजिटिव है। प्राइवेट बैंकिंग मेजर समथिंग दैट यू शुड प्रेफर। स्टॉक लाइक HDFC, कोटक, ICICI, top three big names is something that one should consider. Others are also, we are seeing participation on a rotational basis, like in the PSU's name, but in today's decline, they also declined very sharply. So at least we are seeing consistency in the private heavyweights, not in the other names. तो वहां पे आपको फोकस करना है प्राइवेट बैंकिंग मेजर्स में, जैसे कि लास्ट वीक हमने बात भी की थी ICICI बैंक की, और वो इस वीक भी काफी स्ट्रेंथ के साथ बंद हुआ। Now let's talk about stocks which you should be focusing on. The first name on the list is Industar. So it's not a daily or a weekly graph, it's the monthly graph. So as you can see that the stock has had a prolonged corrective phase, means after making a high around this 340, 350 area, for last several years the stock was struggling. Finally, it could manage to break that, multi-year highs and inched higher. But following the corrective tone of the market, it also retraced. And after almost 5-6 months of consolidation, it has formed a base in this zone, 320 to 360. And now we have started seeing recovery. So if any stock, like, after such a prolonged consolidation, witnesses a breakout and then forms a base around the neckline area, possibility of recovery is usually high. So in case somebody is looking for any stock where there's a noticeable strength, obviously Industar is one such name. So in the earlier webinars, we've talked about, like, the handful of names from the FNO basket which are consistently holding strong in this market scenario. So obviously banking and financials are there, means HDFC, ICICI, they were among the top names, followed by Kotak. Then we have Bajaj Twins, Bajaj Finserv, Bajaj Finance, Chambal Fertilizer, Bharti Airtel. So after that, prominent list, there are certain counters wherein we are seeing recovery from the other spaces also. And Industar is one such name. तो देखिए, हमने पहले जितने भी वेबिनार्स पिछले करीब आप 4-5 महीने जब से करेक्शन चल रही है मार्केट में, तो बहुत कम स्टॉक्स हैं जहाँ पे की स्ट्रेंथ दिख रही है। तो लगातार उन्हीं स्टॉक्स को बार बार हमने बात की जहाँ पे की स्ट्रेंथ थी, और वो अच्छा भी प्ले आउट हुआ मार्केट में, बिकॉज मार्केट गिरते रहे और वो स्टॉक्स ऊपर जाते रहे। चाहे वो आप बजाज ट्विंस की बात करें, भारती एयरटेल की बात करें, इंडिगो की बात करें, चंबल फर्टिलाइजर, मतलब एक ठीक ठाक लिस्ट है जहाँ पे कि आप करीब 15-20 नाम जो कि कंसिस्टेंटली आपको मार्केट में आउट परफॉर्मेंस दिखा रहे हैं। तो वैसा ही कुछ पॉसिबिलिटी दिख सकती है इंडस्टार में भी, कि एक रेंज जो अपने मंथली ब्रेकआउट के एरिया के पास आके कंसोलिडेट किया है पिछले करीब 5-6 महीनों में, तो यहाँ से दोबारा से एक रिकवरी की पॉसिबिलिटी इंडस्टार में दिखती है। तो यहाँ पे लॉन्ग पोजीशंस के लिए आप देख सकते हैं, राइट? सो नेक्स्ट स्टॉक is basically not a stock जहाँ पे कुछ trend हो, means it is something which is stuck in a range, but usually we receive maximum number of queries. Reliance Industries. So this is the weekly graph of Reliance Industries, and the chart itself, talks about what's going on in this counter. So almost like 3-4 months, the stock is stuck in this range of 1180 to 1300. Can you see these two lines, green and red? So it's stuck in this range from last 2-3 months now, and again we are closer to the lower band of this range. So it is going to be critical, because at one end banking is holding strong, but at the other end IT, Reliance, and some other heavyweights from the other sectors, they are putting pressure. So this zone 1180, 1150 was obviously the low, but on the closing basis we could manage to hold that area. So 1180, let's say if it fails to hold for a couple of days, probably this decline may extend. Means the range that we are seeing, so it might put further pressure on the stock towards 1100 area, maybe lower. So देखिए, ये स्टॉक इसके लिए नहीं है कि इसमें कुछ बड़ा हुआ है, बल्कि इसमें कुछ नहीं हुआ है बड़ा, बट क्वेरीज बहुत होती है। इसके लिए ये स्टॉक को हम कवर कर रहे हैं आज, कि बहुत टाइट रेंज में, जो कि रिलायंस यूजुअली इस तरीके से होता नहीं है, इसकी रेंज काफी बड़ी दिखती है। जैसे कि आप देख भी पा रहे हो कि ये पहले भी ट्रेड होता था, तो एक रेंज काफी सिग्निफिकेंट रेंज होती थी, करीब 400-500 पॉइंट की। इस बार ये करीब 100-150-200 की पॉइंट की रेंज में फंस गया है। अब ये अपने रेंज के लोअर बैंड के पास, मींस 1180-1300 के बीच में ये ट्रेड कर रहा था, दोबारा से उसी लोअर एंड के पास आ गया है। 1180 को ब्रेक करने का मतलब है प्रेशर और बढ़ेगा इसमें, और अगर होल्ड कर लिया तो दोबारा से रिकवरी। तो आपको 1180 को ध्यान रखना है रिलायंस के लिए, खासतौर से जिनके पास लॉन्ग पोजीशन है या फिर बनाना चाहते हैं। ठीक है, तेजी के लिए कहाँ तेजी कब आएगी? जब 1300 के ऊपर निकल जाएंगे, राइट? This is about Reliance Industries. Now, the third stock on the list, here also, basis that while the iShares is making record highs, the interest is in Tata Motors. Like, people are keep on asking about when we are going to see the recovery in Tata Motors. This is not the daily or a weekly graph, this is the monthly graph of Tata Motors. So, as you can see, after this multi-year breakout, it was almost a vertical move towards a new high, means from 600 to 1150, almost double. And now we have retraced the entire gain in the last 9-10 months. So we are closer to the support, there is no doubt about that, but there is no sign of reversal also, means this week obviously it was among the top nifty losers also. So we are again closer to the support area. See, there are two ways to see this move. One, that I'm an investor, I'm looking for a buying opportunity from the long term perspective, especially in the counters which they have all we have seen already correction, and they are very closer to the support. That is one way. Other is a trader who wants to exploit short term moves and keep on adding Tata Motors on every dip in anticipation of a recovery. The second approach is definitely a no. When you have Eicher Motor, TVS, which are trading at the record highs, why you should choose something which is constantly inching lower? That is something that you should keep in mind while we consider any stock for trading or investment. तो देखिए, ये स्टॉक भी क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा क्वेरीज होती है इसको लेकर, तो ये मंथली चार्ट है, तो बहुत सालों का कंसोलिडेशन जो ये चल रहा था, यहाँ पे एंड हुआ, और करीब 600 से लेकर 1100 तक के, 1150 तक के मूव आए। वो सारा का सारा मूव अब रिट्रेस हो चुका है टाटा मोटर्स में। तो ये 590 का जोन है जो कि आप ऊपर वाली लाइन देख रहे हैं, उसके नीचे वाली जो लाइन है वो करीब 530 के पास है। तो ये 590 और ये रेड लाइन जो आप मूविंग एवरेज की देख रहे हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं वहीं पे उन्हीं लेवल्स के पास कोइंसाइड कर रही है, उससे मार्जिनली थोड़ा सा नीचे ही है बल्कि ये स्टॉक। ये अगर आप शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडिंग के लिए देख रहे हैं और बार बार कवरिंग की उम्मीद करना कि चलो एक बार इस बार रिकवरी आएगी और तेज रिकवरी आएगी, और बहुत करेक्ट हो चुका है, तो आप देख पा रहे हैं कि सपोर्ट के पास जरूर है, बट जरूरी नहीं है कि सपोर्ट के पास आने का मतलब है कि बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रिकवरी। जो भी रिकवरी आई थी वो फिजल आउट हो गई, और अगर ये 590 के नीचे गया तो हो सकता है कि प्रेशर और बढ़ जाए। तो ट्रेडर्स के लिए दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट कि आप ट्रेंड के साथ रहे, मीन्स यू आर बाइंग स्ट्रेंथ नॉट वीकनेस। Strength, we have talked about multiple stocks, be it the banking, financial name. Other than that, Bharti Airtel, Indigo, Chambal Fertilizers, stocks which are trading closer to their 52-week high or already at the record highs. So if they are trading at their record highs or closer to that zone, it means people are more confident about their performance despite the negative market sentiments. So one should plan their trades accordingly. So hope with this example of Reliance Industries and Tata Motors, we are clear that what a trader should not do, right? In anticipating a recovery or a rebound in a declining stock or a negative trending stock is not a good practice for a trader, because you'll end up losing your money at the same time you're losing opportunity also, right? तो देखिए इस एग्जांपल के बाद ये सेशन का जो मेरे साइड से शेयर करना का था वो एंड हुआ। तो जो मेन रीजन था मेरा शेयर करने का ये रिलायंस और टाटा मोटर्स को, ये यही था कि मार्केट में जब आप बाइंग कर रहे हैं, जब आप ट्रेंड ढूंढ रहे हैं, जब आप तेजी कर रहे हैं, तो वीकनेस को बाय करके नहीं, स्ट्रेंथ को बाय करके प्ले करें। प्राइस को ना देखकर कि एब्सोल्यूट प्राइस ये 20 रुपए है, 15 रुपए है, 100 रुपए है, 500 रुपए है, स्ट्रेंथ कहाँ पे है? ये 20 रुपए वाला अगर 10 रुपए हो गया तो क्या होगा, राइट? और वहीं पे अगर वो 1000 है, 1500 का भी है, वो 2000 हो रहा है, 2500 हो रहा है, रिटर्न्स को देखिए। All right, so with this, we end this session now. Then now a quick feedback poll. So please अपना feedback आप share कर दीजिए about this session, and then you can start posting your question using that Q&A button. तो ये अपना feedback share करने के बाद कोई भी सवाल है आपका, Q&A बटन आपकी स्क्रीन पर है, उसको आप दबा के लिख कर अपना सवाल जो भी है आप पूछ सकते हैं। Those who are done with the feedback, they can start posting their questions. जिनका हो गया है फीडबैक का तो वो अपना क्वेश्चन अब लिख कर पूछ सकते हैं। Right, so we are almost done now, so let's start with Q&A. Okay, so first question we have from Hazufa Bhagat on index, means from the expiry view, monthly view, what is the expected range for the May? So like we just shared that probably for the next week 22,100 to 23,400 or rather 800, because we are seeing excessive volatility, is the probable range. Maybe it might hold for a couple of weeks, not maybe for the month, because the way we are seeing decline in the global markets means earlier we were seeing that the US markets were holding strong, the European markets. So now we started seeing sharp correction in the global markets. So that is basically denting the sentiments in our markets also, at least to some extent. Obviously, now the focus area would be on the key events, domestic events, which are going to unfold in the coming weeks. First is the RBI policy, then we have the earnings. But as of now, I believe that this 22,000, 22,100 to 23,800 is going to be the probable range uh, for the coming weeks also. Right. Okay, so yes, there is a latest news. I've also read it before coming to this webinar that China has imposed retaliating tariff on US. So this is the beginning. Means what we have been seeing from last couple of days, that is going to definitely disturb the overall trade situation, and then probably we'll find some solutions with negotiation. So for India also, like we are in talks for a trade agreement. So that might hold true for China and other nations also in the coming weeks or months. But when it comes to the market, I feel that the major focus area is going to be earnings. So as of now, the focus should be more on our domestic factors. Obviously, these kind of news items would trigger volatility and maybe a knee-jerk reaction also. But eventually, market is going to follow the earnings. So monthly view, like what we've shared earlier also, 23,000, 22,000 to 23,800. That would be the probable range that we are eyeing, at least for the coming weeks. Okay, next we have Karthikeyan on can we expect an upward movement in chemical sector in this market? So chemical selectively, yes. See, till yesterday it was the pharma was also holding strong. In fact, there was news that uh, they might exempt pharma. We have not anything heard much on specifically on chemicals, any change on that front. And the way we are seeing some of these chemical counters holding strong, like SRF, Naveen Fluorine, and some of these agrochemical related counters also. Selectively, yes, one can continue with the top performers if the view is short term. If you're planning any investment, then you should wait and watch and let this tariff situation, ease for clarity. If you are planning any particular uh, basket on chemicals per se. Okay, stock specific queries. Please excuse. Next we have Rajesh on. I've taken. Okay. So hotel and tourism industries stock, they are definitely among the top performers. So yes, certain names are volatile, but comparatively, if you compare it with the other sectors or themes, they have done pretty well. So Indian Hotel is definitely among the top performer within the basket. Then we have Indigo from the airline space, which is quoting at the record highs. Other hotel names, be it Lemon Tree, EIH, Chalet Hotel, Taj GVK. There also we are seeing consistency, means they are not witnessing a similar kind of dent which we are observing in the other sectors in the mid cap and small cap space. So as of now, indications are favorable that in the next 2 quarters, we might see this continued outperformance from this particular space. Okay, which sectors provide opportunity to look at keeping in view in the ongoing tariffs? So, see, the best way to look at it is sectors which are domestically focused, IT, pharma. They have their maximum, revenues from the overseas market. As of now, I believe that the way we are seeing outperformance in banking, it's a precursor that there could be continued outperformance post earning also. So that is one space. Then selectively, in between, we were seeing that in fact it's still continuing in certain pockets. Defense, after a sharp correction from its record highs, we have seen noticeable, strength and recovery. So other than that, instead of focusing more on any particular sector or a theme, look for stock specific opportunities. And the best way is to stick with the top names from there, from the telecom basket, Bharti Airtel, Industar is something wherein we are seeing strength amid all this, correction. Then simply, if we look at the energy basket, then OMCs after this correction, crude now is it again at $68. So accordingly, one has to identify the top performer within the themes instead of like focusing on any particular sector uh, for outrightly positive view. Because within the banking also, the private banking majors, top three names are the one basically which are performing. Others are either consolidating or reeling in the pressure. So hope it answers your query. Okay, next we have someone on auto and pharma. So auto looks okay to us, means selectively we've talked about certain stocks which are under pressure. But then we have names like Aisha, TVS, M&M, which are holding strong. So stay stock specific. Pharma, we would recommend to avoid for a time being now until we see some clarity over the possible tariff, because that is what the US president said that they are contemplating on that. So one should wait and watch when it comes to pharma. But auto may selectively, definitely you can consider long positions. Okay, next on mid cap and small cap. So see, mid cap, small cap, it's a very uh, tough space to be in because they are highly volatile. And with the beginning of earnings, obviously the volatility is likely to increase further. So if you know how to handle that volatility, means you are very strict or religious with your stop losses, then only you should trade. Otherwise, stick largely with large cap or larger mid caps instead of focusing on very high beta names just on the basis of single day recovery or reversal. So yes, okay. One question on the stock specific we usually avoid, but we are just going to take a couple of questions from that front also. So NBCC, any you have seen a sharp cut since you have bought it. Now we are seeing some consolidation, but for any reversal, the stock should reclaim this 90 area. Downside 75, 70 is a zone basically where we have multiple supports. Very short term 78. So let's say if you are planning for very short term, then your stop should be at 75, 78 zone, and around 94, 95 you should reevaluate your position. All right. So with this, we have answered all the queries. Thank you everyone for joining in. Next week, same time, we'll connect again. We'll discuss about markets, how the markets are going to pan out in between. Obviously, we'll talk about everything in detail.